What's going on, family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Welcome to the 32nd edition of today's forecast. We're all going to die. Where I go out of my beautiful way to make fun of the media, because the media, at the end of the day, for the most part nowadays, does a great, beautiful job of distracting people and scaring the crap out of people. And if you like to be scared and be distracted, then watch the media or watch Ratchet TV or Ratchet social media or whatever the case may be. Hey, if it's cool with you, then it's cool with me, and that's the only way it truly has to be. Shout out to my gym people. A lot of people going back to the gym trying to get it in. I've been off my mark this week, but I will get back on schedule this week if it kills me. It just might, but we'll see what happens either way at the end of the freaking day. So let's get to it. I'm not going to be on too long because I got other things to do. And you know how it is when you got business to handle. Because I swore to myself this year in 2026, I'm not going to kill myself over social media, over creating content. I'm going to keep it simple because I'm passionate about doing it, and I'll leave it at that. All right, so today's forecast, we're all going to die. 1,500 soldiers on standby for possible Minnesota deployment. Sources say as state mobilizes National Guard. Now, first off, love the troops. Got nothing but love and respect for the troops. They're just following orders. Forget the political crap. I think everybody's, all sides, and when it comes to politics, are full of it. Everything's about money in the United States of America, and if you can't understand that, you don't understand a darn freaking thing. But anyways, I will say this. So my grandparents and parents came up through the civil rights era. And so a lot of people that are freaking out of the things that have been taking place, whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, I really don't care. I'm not here to debate. Remember, on this channel, we only debate how we can increase our value and increase our income. We never, ever will debate politics, regardless of who's in office. So I'll leave it at that. But anyways, so with this being said, well, it's nothing new. I mean, you had to have National Guards escort Black American students into a school all over the country at one time back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s and whatnot. So unfortunately, the situation happened when that woman was killed. It was bad. So I'm definitely not making fun of that. Only thing I'm making fun of the people that want to have a heart attack over every minute thing that happens in this life. If the National Guard deploys, then the National freaking Guard deploys. You can't worry about things that you can't control in this life. And I wish people would do more and more of that, because when you do that, your life gets a little bit better. At least for me. I can't put it any other way. All right. So I'll leave it at that. All right. So next edition. Today's forecast. We're all going to die. Tired of AI, people are committing to the analog lifestyle in 2026. Specifically, a lot of Gen Z people, because a lot of them did not come up like my generation, the millennial generation, with cassette tapes, records, and CDs. You have a lot of people that are collecting and doing a good job of collecting CDs, cassette tapes, records and record players and whatnot, just to get a break away from all this technology. Because I think we all eventually have to do our best to unplug, because we weren't meant to be on our cell phones and on our computers for this long. Right now I'm on my cell phone and my computer. So when I'm done with doing this, I'm going to need some time to unplug and just chill and relax and turn my brain off. That's shout out to the Pop the Balloon people. No shade towards them, because, you know, they do a good job of entertaining people with these shows, and some people might find love with all that good stuff. But even a lot, I remember this was during the pandemic, a lot of younger people were purposely going out into nature and wanted to just get away and unplug from social media. They might take pictures and take videos of their journey while they go out into the wilderness, or go out into countries where having access to the internet and social media isn't as easy as it is in the U.S. or any other Western nation and things of that nature. But I think this is a good thing. I think this is a positive thing I'm going to talk about, and most people probably might care about it, but you don't care. Cool. I do care. I think more of us should do more hiking, swimming in oceans and rivers and whatnot. I think more of us should take trips to foreign nations. I think more of us should get out into the wilderness, whether it's in America or another country and whatnot, and just unplug from all this social media. Because ever since the pandemic, all of us, and I mean all of us, from millennials, Gen Zs to Gen Xers to baby boomers, have just gotten so used to being connected with our cell phones and being online all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I think that should be something to definitely take into consideration. All right. This article that I'm going to read might seem political. I'm not taking any stance against or for the president. Don't care. What I'm saying is this is another edition of today's forecast. We're all going to die. Trump has tariffs. Europe has a trade bazooka. This Greenland standoff could get ugly fast. And if the world dies, then we're all going to die. I can't worry about this stuff. But anyways, there's more tariffs on the way. Could result in significant higher import prices that could weaken both economies. I mean, when it comes to the only thing that's gone down as far as the cost of anything right now is just the cost of gas, but everything else is still skyrocketing in prices, specifically when it comes to food prices. The amount of money I spent on groceries this week and the restaurants, going out to a restaurant this weekend, says it all right there. Why I do not go out to restaurants like that, because it's very, 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 very costly. All right, now the whole thing with the pursuit of Greenland, if it happens, I'm gonna be honest, I don't care. If it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be honest, I don't care. Why? Because I don't have any control over it. It's just like during the Bush administration, people got mad about the invasion of Iraq and whatnot and things of that nature. Didn't have any control over it then. I don't have any control over this now. We'll see what happens. It says the tariff will be imposed, 10% tariffs will be imposed by February 1st on goods from Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and the UK. Hopefully I still get to go to the UK in May. Shout out to the UK. I've always wanted to go to London, so that's a bucket list place. It would increase to 25% if the agreement is not reached by June 1st. So we'll see what happens. I mean, hey, this might be actual situation is today's forecast. Not we're all going to die, but it might be a situation where it's like today's forecast, we're all screwed. What are we going to do? Anyways, my dog, of course, wants to act a fool while I'm live, so give me 2 seconds, and I'll be right back, fam. All right, sorry about that, family. But either way, interesting times, because one thing you definitely do see more of is more mass layoffs. And this is on a serious note. You see much more mass layoffs taking place. You've seen the layoffs with Meta. You've seen the layoffs with recently CarMax. I think that might be the reason why CarMax would be the number one place that I actually end up buying a new car from, because the price is right. Even though I have a friend of mine who's a car salesman is trying to get me to buy from him, but the price is not right for what I'm looking for. So, hey, dollars, everything is about dollars, makes sense and whatnot. But anyways, and before I go on to going out of my way to mock the media, one thing I will say is we've been living in crazy times for the last couple of years now. It didn't just hit in 2025. It didn't just hit in 2026. And to be around people that take fashion, football, relationships, and family, they don't put their economic situation at that same level. Specifically, sports and entertainment should be on the bottom of that level, but they don't put the level of ensuring that they have access to capital, money saved up, and things of that nature, and other assets to be able to borrow from or sell off in case of an emergency. These people are going to weaken you. no matter how good they are. And you have to remember that. So that's why I said it's like the 2026 is a year of feelings getting hurt. My feelings might even get hurt. It is what it is, because nobody has time to be around people that are not trying to elevate, people that are happy with stagnation, people that are happy with mediocrity. That is a death sentence to be. That is, in a sense, and I don't like to say it, but in a sense, it's kind of cancerous to be around that kind of energy. And I'll leave it at that. Okay, but because I'm very, when I say that, I mean that, and I'm very serious about that. I started this channel years ago, obviously, passionate about social media, number one, and then of course wanted to make some, supplemental income. But the main thing I'm always been passionate about is being able to have access to. People think Capricorns like to have money because we want to floss. No, we like to have money because we like security. And this last year proved that if your money ain't right, if your credit ain't tight, and if your assets ain't able, if you don't have assets you can't get access to on site, then your life ain't truly right. And I can't really put it any other way. I can't really put it any other way, but it is what it is. So I'll leave it at that. But MLK Day is tomorrow. Shout out to Atlanta. Shout out to Georgia. Even though he wasn't born on the 19th or whatnot, the federal holidays on the 19th, a lot was done to ensure that Martin Luther King was able to even get a federal holiday. But I will say that I'm going to read something that the media put out, but the media never really goes in on the true, before Martin Luther King was unfortunately killed, the true value of the man that Martin Luther King was, and obviously the legacy that he left. Because the one thing I'll say about Martin Luther King Jr., he was all about not only civil rights, but he was about, before he was brutally killed, he was about civil rights. Meaning that, and it was a term that I've heard back in the day, right before the pandemic, or back a couple of years ago before the pandemic, meaning that he talked about how, during the Homestead expansion, meaning that after the U.S. won the Mexican-American War, after the Louisiana Purchase, there was so much land in Middle America until the West, because remember, Middle America was owned by France, and that was a deal that America and France worked out during the American Revolutionary War, because that's who helped us beat the British during the American Revolutionary War. The Germans, certain German troops, and specifically the French Navy, because we were not a nation, we were colonies, and we did not even have a navy. We barely even had a military force. A majority of the fighters in the American Revolutionary War were actually, as they called, what the British called them, peasants, but they were militia. Yeah, they were militia. So it was a continental army, and then you had a militia, and then you had the French Navy that helped basically fight against the British Navy and whatnot, and the British had to admit defeat eventually. But anyways, the deal was, in order for that to happen with the American colonies, the American colonies said, hey, you can have the middle of America and whatnot, because when you think of Canada was basically colonized by the French and the British. That's why the French and English is the national language in Canada. Shout out to Canada, a great country. Been there twice. Shout out to Vancouver. Shout out to Toronto, Canada. And then, of course, the West Coast was owned by Mexico, Spain / Mexico, which later, became Mexico. I believe they called it New Spain at the time. Then it was Mexico. And I'm not going to get into all the particulars of that, like I'm an expert. But obviously, we wanted the rest of We wanted the rest of the United States. So then we had the Mexican-American War and things of that nature. I don't even know why I'm literally just lost my train of thought in regards to why I would talk about the history. Oh yeah. Anyways, the Homestead Expansion Act basically allowed the people who immigrated here from Europe to the United States that basically had free land, and they educated them on how to farm and maintain the land. They were given free land. They was given access to education and access to capital and whatnot to get loans in order to preserve the land. That was a deal. You had to preserve the land, farm the land, and things of that nature. All right. So anyways, Martin Luther King talked about that because he was like, hey, one of his last speeches, he said, "Hey, we're coming to Washington D.C. to get our checks, man, Black Americans, in regards to the form of reparations." Because at the end of the day, the main reason why politicians don't like me, I actually love when local politicians kind of knocking on my door and like, "Hey, I want you to vote for me." The Independents, Democrats, and Republicans, I love it. And I always say, "Okay, cool. What's in it for me from an economic standpoint?" And I'm talking about access to capital. And go. They look at me all stunned because like, oh, okay, this guy's actually an informed voter. Like, well, we're going to do this and that other. I say, yeah, where I live at the DMV area, we have a great job market. I don't want to hear all that nonsense. Access to capital, money, loans, business loans, personal loans. That's what I want to hear. And go. And then they look at me with a strange stare, and I slam the door in their face because I just gave you some grown folks talk, and you're not talking to me like an adult, so you're talking to me like a little kid, and I feel disrespected, so I have a nice life. All right. Anyways. As I was saying, so that's the man that Martin Luther King is and was, and it does that part of it from the economic standpoints of Black Americans getting access to capital does not get talked about enough. Heck, in politics today, it doesn't get talked about enough because at the end of the day, the United States was a corporation before it was a country, doing the economic bidding for France and the UK. Well, now it's known as the UK, but back then it was known as Britain or Great Britain. Even to this day, the United States is still a corporation, most countries around the world are corporations. They're doing economic business. Is there anything wrong with that? No. But the thing is, the problem with most voters, they're very misinformed. That's the best way to put it, misinformed, because they don't want to have that economic conversation. But what do I know? I'll leave it at that. So now let's see what the article has to say, because I'll give you my perspective in regards to Martin Luther King. All right. I'll give my perspective and going from there. But anyways, at the end of the day, one of his most iconic speeches was like, people of all colors, backgrounds, religions, and whatnot to be able to sit, live in the same neighborhoods, go to the same schools, work at the same jobs and whatnot, and be able to judge people by the content of the character, not the color of the skin, not their religion, and things of that nature. And in a perfect world, for the most part, it's been done, but you're always going to have racism and bigotry no matter what the situation may be, because everybody's going to have their prejudices. It is what it is. Usually if I don't like somebody, it's because I think they're a piece of crap. It's never because of somebody's religion, age, race, gender, none of that. No, if you just proved me to be a piece of crap as a person, then I don't like you. That's usually how the game goes. All right. So, but anyways, that is the edition of today's forecast. We're all gonna die, where I'd love to go out of my way to mock the media, because the media is easy to work to mock, you know what I mean? But and then of course here's another one. I believe I talked about this earlier, but I'll talk about it now one more time. So this will be the last one. Today's forecast, we're all gonna die. There's an article on Fox News about young men. News, young men. And the articles I just talked about earlier, that was on CNN. So I'm not young men need to grow up. So I'm not being biased in anything of that nature towards anybody. But at the end of the day, we're saying society's failing young men, grown men, and young boys dropping out of school, dropping out of work, and choosing to drop out of society entirely, not getting married, not having kids, because there is a birth situation where there's not enough people producing babies, but there's an economy that's been created to where it's benefiting the well-to-do, but the everyday regular working people. I actually commend Gen Z, I said this earlier, not having babies out of wedlock, not getting married to the wrong people, because they know that the economic ramifications of people marrying the wrong people, having children with the wrong people, even being around the wrong people. And this goes for men and women. Excuse me. Heck, the bar I was at last night, one of the bartenders was telling me and my friend about how she has to pay her husband because he will not sign off on divorcing her. She has to pay, and he's not working. She has to pay her husband child support for the kids that they have. So it can go both ways. But I've seen child support break men and women. I've seen alimony break men and women. Okay, so that's why if when people do these things, everything needs to be looked at as a business decision in this country. I can't speak about the rest of the world, but the United States of America, everything, and I mean everything, needs to be looked at as a business decision. And the thing is, these Gen Z folks know that, because a lot of times I get a chance to talk to them more and more, and I'm just like, yeah, if I had the information you have when I was your age, my gosh, my life would be so much different right now. Because that's why you have so many younger people who are becoming millionaires, because they know the game. They understand that a job stands for just over broke if you don't know how to make money outside of your paychecks that you receive every month. They know that you have to have a side hustle. They have a business, have assets and accumulation from cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, stocks, bonds, real estate. They know these things. They have the access to the information. So, moral of the story is, because I'm not going to be on here all night. Moral of the story is that because one gentleman said, young men need to get out. Yep, here it is. Young men need to basically get back to old school traditional values. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think that the number one old school traditional value should be not, and I'm not knocking anybody who's had kids out of wedlock, not knocking anybody who's ever gone through divorce, been in a bad relationship. Nobody's perfect. But when you purposely start doing these things after the first time, and it's like, okay, hello, what's going on here? Because then it got on guys for, stop playing video games and go out and get married and have a family. Like, for a grown man to tell another young man that you need to do that, like it's 1885 and whatnot, it's just like, the young guys are going to laugh at you. Let's just keep it real. Number two, they're going to look at your lifestyle and say, do I really want that lifestyle? And that's a yes or no question. That's a yes or no answer to that question. Because these young people are not stupid. They have access to all this information. They get to see with their own eyes, because it's not about what you say, it's about what you do. We're past the time of do as I say, not as I do. The young people don't want to hear that crap. It's all about action, Jackson. But anyways, shout out to the young people that are, taking their time in regards to getting with the wrong people, having babies with the wrong people, getting married to the wrong people, and rushing their life away and whatnot. It's your life. You got to steer it in the direction as long that you want it to go in. My mindset is to any young person, because I'm at the stages now. If you trying to do the right thing, you're all right in my book. I really can't put it any other way. But if you're trying to do the wrong thing, then you're not all right in my book. And that's real. That's the real deal Holyfield at the end of the day. But on that note, family, either way, do the great three things, like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Thank you for those who watch and like, share, and comment on the videos. Thank you for those who hit up the Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Like I said, I'm not killing myself when it comes to doing the content this year, because I know at the end of the day, my channel's been demonetized, and it probably won't be monetized anytime soon again. And I'm not going to worry about it, because, moving on to greener pastures. You got to do what you got to do at the end of the day. But either way, you're going to get it done. Shout out to Mike Macklin. Supposed to meet up with him next week in Richmond, as well as the family. So we're going to get it done. We're going to get it in, because this year I'm going to be taking much more trips in regards to not only fun, but business-oriented trips, networking trips. I don't want to, I'm just going to keep it simple. I don't really want to be associated with men if you ain't talking about no business like that. So I got to keep it real when I say that, or really anybody else like that, because, I'm getting older. I don't have that much time left. So I'm going to do my best to do what I got to do at the end of the day to make this life the best life that I can live. So, but either way, if there's any articles in the media that anybody wants to mock, put it in the comment section. Let me know. I'll laugh. We can laugh and chuckle about it, because at the end of the day, even though I talked about some certain serious things, I will say at the end of the day that you got to learn to laugh and enjoy your life, because people are getting older, and, things are changing at a rapid pace, family. So I leave it at that. But anyways, on that note, family, do the great three things, like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money, moves, or good, live like a fool, say in Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life. I'm out. So, a lot of people ask, what is LarrysAnythingGoes, LLC? It's real simple. Do affiliate marketing in regards to cryptocurrency affiliations like Coinbase, WEBULL, crypto.com, etc., and so forth, stocks, bonds with Acorns and Stash, because these are the vehicles that I utilize to invest in. Number two, I sell products like the shirt you see on me and the hat that you see right here. Make Money Moves hat, Make Money Moves shirt. And I make content. That's, at the end of the day, essentially that's what Larry's Anything Goes is. This is a new promo video for the company, and that's it. So, as I always say, do the great 3 free things. If you're watching on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves so you can live like fools. Say in Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life. And that's all she wrote. Any questions? And thank you again for anybody who's ever bought from my store. Thank you anybody who's ever contributed to my channel, from liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, super chats, cash apps, PayPals, Venmos, all that good stuff. I just want to say it's greatly appreciated. I do this for love and passion. To be able to monetize is just an extra layer of add-on, so I just want to put that out there. Take care. Michael, now.